Hello，大家好，歡迎你哋嚟到 AngelaInsight 呢個平台。我呢個平台咧係主要邀請咗唔同 dance style 嘅舞者咧嚟同我一齊傾下偈，同我分享下佢哋嘅舞蹈故事。今日坐喺我身邊嘅咧就係 Bianca。Hello Bianca 你好啊。
Hello，thank you for having me。
係，唔好客氣。因為你咧細細個已經喺即係我認識你啦。你細細個12歲嘅時候。我已經識你噶咯喎，你好多古仔分享噶，我唔幫你講，因為我驚我 mess up 所有嘢，你自己分享下你嘅 background 好嘛？少少一齊俾我哋啲觀眾了解下 Bianca 點解會即係跳舞嘅，小時候已經開始。
係咁我好細個就開始跳舞嘅，
Yeah.
我係5歲嘅時候就開始跳芭蕾舞啦。跟住我其實係芭蕾舞受咗傷之後。應該係12歲、16歲咁樣。I started to do contemporary and jazz and a bit of street dance. So when I came to studio dance, I was halfway through healing from an injury from ballet. And then I couldn't be on my point shoes. So I was like, maybe I'll try contemporary. I've always wanted to try. So I came to studio dance.我上咗你個堂啦，跟住上埋
Giselle, yes.
And then that's where I met Lauren.
Oh, true.
So, yeah, and then I started doing contemporary. I started doing some jazz, and I was like, whoa, opened my eyes. It was so different. It felt even the environment, like the class environment was very, very different. It was a lot more open. It was a lot more warm. Not that ballet can't be like that, but it was a lot more free. There was a lot more of a choice that I could make, I feel like. So I started getting into contemporary and then fell in love with it. And then I decided that I was going to study in the US. So I went to Berklee College of Music to study contemporary dance.
所以係咁樣開始咗。
係咁樣就開始咗。
我翻返轉頭問你啊，如果你喺跳芭蕾嗰陣時候唔會受傷，你會唔會 keep on going， 即係繼續跳芭蕾？就係入 Berkeley 嘅時候，Berkeley 我唔知有冇芭蕾嘅 major 啦，你會唔會繼續跳芭蕾啊？
我覺得都應該會去咗 contem 嘅，因為其實我開始芭蕾咧係，即係我開始 professional training 係遲咗嘅，所以我入咗一間competition studio 係應該係14歲先真正咁樣跳 competition， 真正咁樣去 train，所以我係覺得。我全部嘅 training 咧都係 like I felt like the underdog. I was always chasing. I felt like I couldn't get to the perfect level. So I felt like there was always something missing. So when I went to take a contemporary class, I felt like it was more
freedom.
Me. Yeah, I felt like it was more me, and I felt like my body felt nice.
Okay.
So 其實我細個都係好想跳芭蕾舞嘅，like I wanted to be in a ballet company and all that。但係 I think once I experienced contemporary, it was a completely different。
咁我又想問下你咧，喺個過程裏邊啦，嗱你而家都真係你5歲開始跳到而家都已經係差唔多19年，即係已經差唔多接近19-20年。雖然你個 age 而家都係好 young 好細個。係咪好多好好玩嘅嘢 in the future？ 咁但係喺呢個過程裏邊翻返轉頭，有冇啲你係一個好難忘嘅事件，令到你唔想跳舞㗎
？I think it was the injury. Yeah.
會唔會係因為就係嗰個受傷，即係你唔想再跳舞，但係因為你跳咗 contemporary 拯救翻你咧？
都係嘅，我覺得係我嗰陣受傷咧係甩咗臼啦，膝頭哥。And it wasn't as simple as a normal injury like in class. It happened on stage.
Wow,
so
my God, I didn't know that.
Some ballet people in the industry will know of it because it was a very big incident. 係啊，咁上咗台咧係跳 La Baie d'Air 嚟嘅，and I was on point shoes. I was in front of the stage. And then it happened in the middle of the stage.
My God.
And then it didn't go back in, so I just sat on stage while the show was going.
Yeah.
And then I was like looking at the wings, I was like, please help me, please save me. 跟住喊晒咁樣 I didn't know what to do. And then
但係你係完成咗成隻 piece？
未啊，即係我坐咗喺個台上面啦，跟住個個都喺我旁邊跳。
my god.
And every single time like someone would pass me, they'd be like, it's okay, it's okay. And then my teacher carried me off after. But so that experience was very, very traumatizing.
Yes,
I think it was more mental than it was physical. So I think that took a lot of time to recover from. I took a big break. I didn't know if I wanted to dance. Again, I didn't know if I had the courage to go back. Yeah, and then
但係嗰時係幾時？你幾多歲嘅時候發生？
應該係15歲、16歲咁樣。
咁但係你停咗幾耐先再開始翻呢件事件？
我係停咗1年。
OK，
停咗1年。
係。
Yeah。
咁有咩事件令到你再想跳翻舞咧？
嗰1年咧，我就做緊 rehab 啦。And then I was actually supposed to do surgery.
Yeah.
And then I met my osteopath. I think you know her.
Yes, yes,
Camilla.
係。
咁佢就佢以前都係跳舞嘅，佢都係跳芭蕾舞嘅。係。And then she understood my condition, she understood my body, and she examined it, and then she realized that I didn't really need surgery. All I needed was strength and a proper way to align my body again. So I got into osteopathy, and then I also got into something called gyrotonic. It's a type
Gyros,
of
我哋叫做係 easy 啲課係啫，俾啲 audience gyro
有啲似 Pilates 咁樣。
係。
But it helped me align my body a lot more. It was also more of a method than a training, I think. It's a way of moving, it's a way of using your breath, it's a way of using your entire body to be able to create a more holistic approach to movement. So I think going into that, I approached dance in a different way. I was like, oh, 即係其實個身體係可以真係明白晒全部 like every single part of your body, you have to understand how it works together in order to dance, in order to push your body. So I think through understanding my body more, I understood what parts I needed to strengthen and how I can continue to research and continue to push my dancing further from there.
咁都好好，你嗱講開呢個故仔咧，我哋同一個即係個 therapy 啦，你比我 lucky 啲，你唔使做手術，但我係嗰陣時去睇佢咧，因為我已經去到個好似最後個階段，已經係冇得救，咁我就喺香港去 search 好多 possibility 針灸啊，唔同嘅醫生啊，唔同嘅人，但係 at the end of day 我都係要做個手術咯，係啊，咁都冇問題嘅，做完都可以繼續跳舞嘅。咁但係嗱，翻返轉頭，我哋係傾開呢個啦。And then 你點解要去咗美國嗰度繼續即係跳舞？即係雖然嗱，你已經受過傷，想跳與唔想跳，你好 understanding 你自己嘅身體點樣用。咁但係你唔使一定要再繼續 continue 去讀 dance 㗎，你可以讀其他嘅。有咩嘢係令到你會突然間再想 keep on going 去 study dance 嘅咧？
我覺得細個嘅時候咧，其實我冇諗過另外一個 option.
Oh, okay.
That was part of it. So number one was I never thought there was any other option. I just needed to dance.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
我都係一樣喎。
即係我由細到大咁樣跳舞咧 ，dance was a part of my life.
係。
So if I didn't do it, it would feel weird.
Yes, regret, weird.
Yeah, I think I would regret it.
係 regret.
And then the second thing was community. I think the biggest thing about dance for me since I was younger was that it created such an interesting community for me. 即係我細個嘅時候咧係唔係好想講嘢嘅人嚟嘅。係。I'm very very shy. I don't know how to communicate. I don't know how to talk. But I think dance gave me a really warm and welcoming community where a lot of the times you don't have to say much. You just understand from movement. You understand each other. You're in the same room together. And it becomes a very intimate and loving environment, I think. Even through the hardships of ballet, there are moments where you're going through it together. And I think there's no experience like that. Well, at least for me, I haven't experienced anything else like that. And the people that I've met. So I wanted to continue sharing. I wanted to continue exploring this community more. It was more about the community and the art and being able to express things that you can't say. It's so cheesy, but you can't say with words. With people that want to do the same. 係啊，
但係你講呢個好啱㗎喎。咁而事實上，即係好似我咁已經經歷咗30幾年啦，就嚟40年啦，都係因為呢個 idea 去支持咗我咁多年想繼續跳舞啦，同埋我同好多舞者啦 dancers 去傾偈嘅時候咧，佢哋都係比較前期或者佢哋都係比較一個 I 人咯，我哋叫做即係 introvert 嘅人，都未必係好願意用個説話去表達。但當佢哋跳咗舞之後咧，係其實透過跳舞咧，去將佢哋自己打開，and 好 understanding 自己嘅時候咧，就開始 step by step 咧去表達自己想表達嘅嘢，唔係淨係跳舞，而係 even 嘅 language 都已經學識咗點樣去。好似今日我而家喺度 talk 嘅時候咧，冇人會知道原來 Bianca 細個係唔出聲嘅，其實你都好多嘢講嘅。所以我覺得嗱，我哋即係如果睇緊我哋呢個 interview 嘅時候，就知道其實跳舞有好多好好嘅 sharing 嘅，令到你點可以變成一個好嘅人，或者了解自己可以分享到，即係唔係淨係跳舞啦，係點樣去同人 communicate 都係一件好事嚟。好，又再我今日好多問題要問你。咁就當你去咗美國，我記得你係喺 Boston 讀書 right？有冇遇到啲咩困難？係我專係問人啲困難，即係問係 difficulty， 就係會唔會好大嘅競爭？又或者你去到其實嗰啲未必係你想讀嘅一樣嘢。
I think in the U.S. it was a very, let's say, cultural shock. Like their way of working was very different. They were a lot more open. They were a lot more expressive of their own opinions, their own voices. 因為我 Boston 之後咧，我 spend 咗1年喺 LA freelance 嘅。咁 LA 都係 LA is you know of it as a very commercial world.
Sure.
It's very people go there to live their dreams to be someone.
Yes.
So it's very very intense. And the main thing was 即係我喺香港嘅時候咧，我冇乜點諗過我自己有啲咩可以表達。係，我淨係老師叫我做呢樣嘢，我就 train， 我就 I need to point my feet, I point my feet. I turn out, okay. I stretch. You know, but in the U.S. is it goes beyond the technique. It goes more into how you do those steps, how you perform, what you want to say as an artist. You're more of an artist than a student. And that was the biggest difficulty for me to try and research and be more curious about who I actually want to be as an artist versus just dancing. Because anyone can train, anyone can do technique, anyone can get stronger.
True.
But then once you're there, like, what do you have to say? And how do you say it? How do you communicate? How do you create that community for yourself? And how do you bring people together? Because I think that's the biggest thing right now in the art industry is to bring people together. So I had a hard time figuring that out.
唔會嘅，你會慢慢去了解咗，同埋有你嘅 experience， 你知道點做嘅時候都可以一齊做到。好似我咁喺香港，我哋啱啱開始嗰陣時候，大家都覺得好難。咁好難只係一個外邊嘅 question， 而你自己去諗到個方法嘅時候，由少開始做起咯。由你自己去 understanding， 由啲人 around 你。同你一齊去做嘢嘅 step by step， 當然一定會遇到好多問題，有啲人去 buy 你嘅 concept， 有啲人唔 buy， 咁但係唔會因為咁樣而 give up 㗎。去到而家點解我可以同你繼續傾偈，都係因為呢樣嘢啫嘛。Otherwise 你唔會走嚟同我一齊去傾關於講跳舞，所以我覺得一定會諗到方法去解決嘅，即係all depends on 你自己咯。個 environment 只係一個 environment 喺出邊，但係你亦都有你想做嘅時候，你亦都有能力可以將嗰件事件去有一個改變。係，我唔知諗得會唔會比較 ideal， 希望你可以諗係咯，可以繼續去做咯。譬如我哋識咗咁耐，即係我哋一代傳一代一代，咁如果下邊啲人唔係咁樣諗，其實我哋冇得 continue。起碼我哋做咗，跟住下邊嗰啲人一齊，咁一齊慢慢開始做嘅時候，呢件事件就可以一路喺中文字嚟講就係傳承落去，你學成傳承咁樣。咁係好事，因為咧我見到你即係都有一個好大嘅改變，尤其是你細個嘅時候，即係你 during injury 嘅時候嗰個時間係你好似頭先你自己講，好多時叫你做乜你就會 boom 做 A 同 B 同 C， 但係當你翻嚟去完 LA 翻嚟嘅時候，你個 presentation 或者你成個感覺都好唔同，我覺得係一個好 positive 嘅影響對於你。咁又問下，即係嗱，當你翻到嚟之後，你再面對翻喺香港做緊嘢嘅時候，有冇一啲幫助對於你，即係幫助翻你會再 open 啲、大膽啲去講你嘅諗法，而呢件事件係令到你有多咗 connection 嘅，有冇啊？
Yes, 一定有嘅。I think 最大嘅 drive 咧，我覺得係I think after experiencing everything in LA, especially seeing them take class, seeing people take class, seeing how people connect with each other, they're so 即係你會見到人上一堂咧，like 一個 master class 咁樣啦。係。If you look around the room, it's like every single dancer is doing their own thing. Like they're obviously they're learning, they're there to they do the steps, they have the musicality down, everything is there, but they're constantly trying to figure out a way of how to put themselves in there. Because you have to do that in LA. If you don't do that, you're not going to be seen, I guess. And yeah, I think I wanted to share that when I came back. I had like a huge drive to want to change a bit of what I felt growing up. Not only did I want to open up more to people, but I wanted people to be able to open up as well. And what I realized in the US is that why people were able to open up was because of the environment, I think. I think the person in front of the room has to be able to create that environment for their students, for their dancers, and for choreographers as well. It has to be a safe environment for people to feel curious, for people to explore. So I think, 我返咗嚟之後咧，我啱啱開始教堂嘅時候咧，又開始排舞啊，或者 you know communicate with more dancers. I think the main thing in my head was always to push exploration, to push curiosity, to push people to constantly ask why we do things, and to try and understand their bodies more than just dance, more than just, you know, taking class, getting the videos, getting the steps, looking like the teacher. I think opening up to them as human beings versus just dancers, because at the end of the day, being a dancer, you're an artist, and as an artist, we communicate human things. Right? Sure. So it's breaking that barrier between, okay, I'm a dance teacher, you're a dance student. It's more about a sharing, it's an exchange. We're getting to know each other as people. And I think when you create that environment of communication and care for your students and for your teachers and for your surroundings, there's more of an eagerness and more of a care from the people around you to want to share as well, and to want to open up.
咁你成唔成功啊？我唔應該係成唔成功，即係你嚟 experience 過，而家喺你而家即係我哋講教緊堂嘅時候咧，你有冇挫敗感啊？你好真實嘅問題嚟嘅，因為我一陣再想回答翻你之前講喺 LA 上嘅，即係一齊傾下偈咁。即係你會唔會啊？點解喺 LA 嘅 dancers 咁好，佢哋可以咁 open？就係頭先你講係咪因為佢 environment？咁但係翻到嚟香港嘅時候，你開始想做呢件事嘅時候，你成唔成功啊？有冇開解咗某啲人啊？
我覺得係有嘅。
very good。
係慢慢咯，會慢少少咯。因為一開頭咧，尤其是如果唔識我嘅人咧，係會唔知，即係唔係好想講嘢啦，或者唔係好想 showcase 自己咁樣。But I think through it's very simple. I feel like through just smiling and more humor and making it a more like chill vibe and trying to understand their needs as well and being more observant has helped. 所以我覺得係有睇到嘅，有唔同嘅改變，有唔同嘅。係因為咧，譬如你講頭先嗰個問題咧，我哋喺 past 20年都有唔同嘅 dancers 去過 LA 做一啲好多嘅 training 啦，即係來來回來 stay 1個月 stay 2個月 stay 3個月，冇你咁多，可能有啲人成年，有啲人係年幾2年都喺嗰度。咁我成日都同佢哋傾偈咧，大家都面對同一個問題，即係同一個問題就係因為點解我哋去到LA 嘅時候，嗰啲人係咁想做自己，咁想表現自己，然之後所有就算跳一個 step， 全部人都唔同嘅。但係翻到嚟香港，我哋嗰啲學生又有唔同，即係比較 shy 啲，冇咁open 咁樣。咁當我咧過咗而家去到而家呢個時間咯，我就冇乜再去 LA。咁但係我自己一個分析嘅，但係我唔知啱唔啱，即係希望可以聽到我哋傾偈嘅人去講。因為咧喺 LA 嘅時候咧，我哋係集合咗全世界最好嘅 dancers 喺個位。
我自己分析啫。譬如我日本嘅 dancers 啦、韓國嘅 dancer、中國嘅 dancer、香港嘅 dancer、新加坡嘅 dancer， 佢哋去嗰度 look up for job， they are the professional dancers。But 香港我哋大家唔好忘記，我哋入緊 studio 嘅時候 ，they are not professional dancers，they are only like 興趣班。佢哋 look up for 就係、咦，我今日唔識，我可唔可以教下跳舞？我而家有乜嘢，你可唔可以即係教下我？你有冇發現香港係冇professional dancer take class 㗎？就算已經變成 professional 嗰啲，已經係 teacher already。咁所以我反而係呢6-7年嘅時候，我冇再問呢個 question， 因為我自我分析咗，但我唔知啱唔啱。佢哋唔係唔想做，而係佢哋本身個職業唔係 train themselves。佢哋有個年紀 from 呢個 age 到呢個 age， 佢係想嚟 enjoy 個 class，佢未必係想成為個職業。LA 每一個都想成為一個職業 ，and then 翻去自己嘅國家 as 一個 teacher，as 一個 choreographer，as 一個 performer。唔知我分析啱唔啱？因未必堂堂都係咁。咁當然香港有好多唔同嘅 studio， 都有好多 young dancers， 佢哋係想 train 自己 as 一個 dancer。但我又睇到好多即係好快已經變成老師，都未 well train 完之後就去啦。咁個都係我成日都點解要同人傾偈去問嘅一個 question 咯。但我想翻去你身邊，呢個我遲啲我再一齊去研究下。我想翻去身邊咧，對於你嘅創作調翻轉，既然 LA 係咁 open， 咁多人有啲唔同嘅 inspiration for 你，會唔會對於你嘅創作係有一個好嘅 inspiration 咧？inspire 啦。
I think for me, for creating, I get inspired by, again, I go back to the community idea. I get inspired by the people around me. And it's not so much about where I am, but more so who I'm surrounded by. And 其實我喺 Boston create 咗一個 piece. It was my senior thesis. And
I saw it before.
And that was my first piece that I ever really created. And I felt like at the time I had something to say. 我覺得最重要咧，即係 creation as a choreographer 最重要係你有嘢想講。即係你冇嘢想講嘅時候咧，跟住想 create 一啲嘢咧係好難嘅。係出咗嚟嘅嘢咧係唔會咁it won't be as honest. It won't be as captivating because you're forcing it out.
Yeah.
So I think as artists it's important to remember that if you have nothing to say, sometimes it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I had a story I wanted to tell then, and then I had a group of dancers in school that I wanted to work with. And 其實佢哋唔知㗎，應該冇講過，同佢哋講過。但係 I picked 7 dancers from my school. 佢哋全部都其實唔係一樣 group 嘅，it's very random. 係 A lot of people didn't understand why I picked them. 但係其實我覺得佢哋好好人。Like I thought they were very, very genuine people who love dance just because they love dance, not because they wanted to be something or they were very humble people. And they also I felt like they had a lot of things to say, but they weren't being heard. And I saw that and I wanted to bring them together and I wanted to get to know them. So I feel like for me, creating, it's about the product, but it's for me to enjoy the process. It's for me to get to know people well. And again, that was one of the main experiences I had, that I created this challenge for myself. I wanted to open them up, I guess. I wanted to create an environment that was safe. Because I think prior to that, I went through an experience, I'm not going to go into it much, but I went through an experience that made me feel very, very unsafe. Like I couldn't have a voice. And I wanted to use that experience and try and see if I can change it.
咁壞嘅 experience?
It was during COVID.
Oh.
I was part of a community that just didn't make me feel very safe, I think. And at the time, 即係我仲細個啦，我仲未知道其實自己 as an artist 我想表達啲咩，我又唔知道我其實想跳啲咩。And I was already like, I felt like I was being judged. I felt like I was put into this place where I was forced to express some things that I wasn't ready to express. And I think with my piece, I wanted to relate to my dancers more. I wanted to have them also be able to express what they wanted to express. So yeah, with creation, to answer your question again, with creation, I feel like it's very important to understand your dancers as humans, to understand their stories as well. Yes, you have a concept you want to share, but you also have to be open to their perspective on it. And
去接納佢哋。
係咯係咯。And then through listening to what they have to say and through becoming friends with them， 即係有啲其實我係未同佢哋講過嘢嘅，其實。係。And then now I'm like good friends with them。
哦，非常之好。
So I think through becoming friends with them and getting to know them, that inspired me more to create。
好好啊，咁都係一樣咯，即係跳舞呢個只係一個名詞，但係呼呢個跳舞，你有一個機會去做一個即係 choreograph 嘅 piece， 喺個 piece 裏邊你去 pick up 咗一啲咁嘅即係你中意嘅一啲 dancers， 你都唔認識佢哋，但係因為透過今次你就開始變成即係大家去了解，然之後大家去做一件事係一個好好嘅即係過程咯。因為我傾偈，我哋傾偈係因為我識你。and 仔我哋係傾關於跳舞嘅一啲故仔，咁我覺得呢啲好好嘅一個分享咯。咁但係另外一個問題啦，嗱你做咗一啲 piece 啦，你翻到嚟香港會唔會面對即係 as 一個 choreographer 或者你 as 一個 creative 嘅人，你會唔會有啲難嘅問題？因為你啱啱開始嘛喺香港呢度，會唔會有啲難嘅問題？即係冇乜人好多人認識你，咁我點解要揾你做 choreographer 什麼咁樣咁啊？你而家會唔會面對緊呢啲事情㗎？
都會嘅。I think yes, that's a hard question. Yes, I think the main thing is finding my community in Hong Kong. I think has been a little tricky. I think in Hong Kong there's not a lot of people that want to create as well and want to. Yeah, not a lot of people have the drive to just create dance anymore. I feel like a lot of people obviously want to earn money, want to teach, want to take class, but not a lot of people would spend the time to actually get in the studio and create and explore. And that was the main difference, I feel like. Even as simple as just getting in the studio and dancing with friends and exploring improv freestyle. One of the main things in LA that I did with my friends was we would just be like, let's go in a studio, let's just dance. Yeah. Like cypher, yeah. You know, and I think that is the biggest difference coming back is not a lot of people would be willing to do that. Or they don't have time, maybe it's Hong Kong culture. 成日都返工，成日都做嘢，冇時間去玩啊。I think the play is gone with dance. Yes. And I feel like that is what is needed to create. Yeah. So a lot of people I feel like have lost that here a little bit.
呢個雖然我問呢個問題，但係你都答得即係你想解構，我要問你，因為你係呢個 generation 啊嘛。咁咧，你啱啱講嗰個咧，我自己 observe 到，即係我開一個 studio 一段時間啦。而家好多時咧studio 除咗要做 business 之外咧，其實以前咧好多 dancers 咧會 group together 嚟個 studio 度 cypher 去用個 studio。咁我而家發現咧個 studio 好空嘅，冇人去嘅。佢用嘅價值咧係愛嚟淨係上堂或者要俾個 class。呢個多謝你答我呢個問題，因為我已經係好大嘅 generation gap， 咁但係我睇到個 difference 咯。係有陣時我哋落 studio 唔係為咗做啲乜嘢，因為可以我哋一齊 jam， 一齊做下 improvisation， 一齊 cypher， 就係 street dance cypher， 或者我哋喺我哋自己跳嗰啲舞，其實互相可以 group 去 jam。咁今次咧，你啱啱俾我問題就係點解我咁想去做呢個 interview， 即係傾偈嘅原因就係咁樣。亦都發現咗有好多人都好忙啊！我就算 even 約一個 interview 或者傾偈咧，都要嘥好多時間。我要特登3個月之前我已經打嗱，你哋好 save 呢啲時間俾我。原來發現都唔係咁容易嘅喎。原來亦都有人去 fulfill 唔到，到 at the end of day 佢哋都係因為工作上太忙。咁我都冇辦法，但係我自己有個好得意嘅諗法，就係點解我哋要注定呢個係一個香港嘅文化呢？我哋可唔可以將呢個香港文化打破佢？然之後唔係，咁可能就係我哋 我唔知，即係希望你日後，因為你仲好 young 一個 young artist，我希望你日後真係可以打破。我一路都30幾年想打破完少少，跟住又翻轉頭破完少少，去到而家破唔到，未必我太大嘅 generation gap， 佢哋都唔係好識我。你唔知係你邊個？你叫我做呢啲，而家我哋個世界唔係咁噶啦咁樣。I don't know。咁你覺得係咪即係我講呢啲你都即係少少感受得到？係啊，如果你下次要落嚟用 studio 隨便啦，係一齊，係一夜晚一齊 cyber， 係因為 studio 本身嘅 nature 係要 create 嗰個氣氛噶嘛，係啊。咁你而家有冇開始即係譬如寫下啲 proposal 去做下即係入啲 proposal 去香港即係好多噶嘛，去希望你有一日可以做到，即係有冇入 proposal 㗎？
有。
成唔成功啊？
未成功。
你入過幾多份 proposal 未成功啊？兩個係。咁你有冇覺得香港係比較少呢啲 chance 啊？即因為我真實要問你，因為你係而家係啊
，yes
係比較少，
係冇乜嘅，
係冇乜。OK， 我哋去研究下，一係冇乜啦。咁所以你入咗兩個係因為你已經入晒啦，即有嘅 chance 你已經去咗啦咁樣。咁因為啲 theatre work 都幾困難嘅一件事，係啊，關於製作上面啦、production 上面啦、錢上面啦，同埋 theatre。你知唔知去 book 一個 theatre 好難㗎？係我哋 book 都 book 唔到㗎，呢個都係另外一個困難。呢啲純粹我哋今日唔講住，要講就太多時間要講。好啊，我就落翻去，我都想翻去頭先再我哋一齊傾偈嘅一啲issues。嗱，就算你已經經歷咗咁一大段時間啦。點解你會選擇做 dancer 呢個，即係 dancers 或者 choreographer 呢個職業？係你有機會唔做㗎嘛？
係。I think, well, there's two things. I think one, it goes back to one of the moments we talked about when I was injured and when I was debating if I wanted to dance again. 我其實係我嗰陣係諗緊讀唔讀跳舞啦。And 我其實係入咗一間係唔係讀跳舞嘅 is like to do physio. And then I also got into Berkeley. 咁我嗰陣咧係諗緊，咁點算咧？I don't know which one to do because I actually like both. 但係咁我就諗咗好耐咧，I imagined my life without dance and it didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense. I think as simple as that, it did not make sense. It was just a part of my life. And I had to do it. 跟住我覺得而家咧 as a dancer, 我覺得每個 dancer 都可能 well, I won't speak for everyone, but I think most people that I've talked to constantly question this every day. Or a lot of times like, why did I choose this career? Why did I choose this? It could be a lot easier, right? But I think it's just a way, it's a different way for us to connect with people. Again, going back, like the main reason why I dance is community, is to connect. And it's to share a part of who I am with people, and when you open up to people, you'll realize that they want to open up to you too, and I think that's such a beautiful thing. And it was actually one moment in the piece that I created.
Yes.
I think is the perfect example of why I choose to dance and choose to choreograph. So one of my friends, her name's Teresa, love her very, very much.
Yeah.
She was going through an injury as well. She had a concussion. So she was having a very hard time in school. She was also thinking, 可能唔跳舞啦，之後即係讀完就唔跳啦，做 physio 啦，好冇咁樣 you know. And it just so happened that my piece, the concept that I was trying to explore, she related to a lot. So I built that around her. I built the piece around her, and I tried to understand her. I tried to understand what she was going through her perspective, and then also connect it to mine. And then we had so many like talks about how she was feeling about dance, her connections to dance, and her connections to the piece. And then 即係 throughout the process 都係好難嘅，其實即係佢 figure out 唔到點解佢唔想跳舞啦。跟住我又 figure out 唔到點樣可以幫到佢啦。So I think through working together, through talking, and then through just letting it out in dance. At the end, like when we did the show, I was just like, just whatever you're feeling, no matter how confused you are, just put it out there, just dance, just let it out. You'll feel better.
Yes.
And 即係跟住跳完咧嗰晚咧係 即係我啲 dancers 係全部跳完係跳到喊嘅。And then she came up to me after the show. She came up to me crying. She was like, I think that made me want to dance again. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, so I think those experiences, like being able to connect with people like that and being able to share stories and really touch on issues in our community, in our everyday life that we can't necessarily talk about sometimes because it's tough. It's tough to talk about, you don't understand enough to talk about, or politically is not right to talk about. Dance is a place where you can do that, where you can express, you can do whatever you want because you can break the rules with dance. And that's what I love.
Okay.
Yeah.
咁我都希望你第日嘅創作可以有呢啲嘅空間俾你自己再思考或者再 create 更加多嘅 piece，同埋要繼續寫 proposal，even 都得一個或者兩個，但係 don't give up， 係因為要繼續嘗試，同埋你唔知裏邊啲 proposal 需要啲咩人，咁你繼續創作或者繼續擺 proposal 嘅時候，一定會有成功嘅時間咯。我想最後一個問題想你 share 嘅就係，我哋都之前啱我哋頭先傾過啦，就係關於教跳舞啦，咁都想問下你而家教緊跳舞嘅時候，你有冇一啲開心嘅嘢分享，或者有啲咩難嘅位你面對緊㗎？因為你都係比較 young，咁所以會唔會好難去 convincing 一啲嚟啲 student？ 因為啲 student 喺香港又好奇怪咁嘛，可能 mature 啲或者大過你，或者細過你，咁你想教邊個 type 嗰啲 student？ 係啊。
I think that is the hardest thing that I'm trying to figure out right now. Actually，就係香港你都講過咧，係有好大嘅 community， 好唔同嘅，即係有啲嚟上興趣班咁樣嚟上啦。And then you have kids or teens who actually want to train and become professionals. And then you also have dancers who were professionals who are coming back, want to train, but then it's still 興趣班. Like it's very you have it's very a wide range, and I feel like, honestly, there's quite a lot of pressure as a teacher and as a leader in the room here to satisfy everyone. Because there's so many different things people want. And, you know, as teachers, we're just one person. Especially if you have a room full of people who want different things, it's so hard to separate. So I think that's one of the main difficulties right now. But
for late.
Yes, yes. But I think through seeing my students, like seeing how they enjoy dance and they enjoy the class and they're more curious, I think that is the main thing that I feel like satisfies me as a teacher right now, is seeing them open up, seeing them be more curious about their own bodies, being more curious about dance, wanting to know more about contemporary.
係好緊要啊呢個。
Yes, and specifically about contemporary, because I think, it's with contemporary dance, it's so much more than just the steps. It's so much more than just the choreography. It's understanding your body. It's being curious about how you can do those movements, how you can do that kind of quality. So I think when a lot of people ask me questions or become more curious about themselves and then share that they have their own explorations about their own bodies, that makes me so happy. Yeah.
其實你已經有 answer， 雖然你話唔知或者最大嘅問題，因為你做一個 as 一個 dance teacher， 我哋都唔可以教晒所有嘅嘢。咁你要知道你教緊係 contemporary dance，and then 你要去 deliver 你本身有嘅嘢，同個學生分享已經係最大嘅得着，或者你自己 step by step 就可以 figure out 中意你嘅 style 或者中意你嘅感覺或者中意你嘅人嘅時候，嗰啲學生就會嚟到去上你嘅 class。而我哋亦都唔使即係要諗要去 fulfill 晒所有嘅人，因為冇得，因為每個人好似你頭先咁講，每個人個 range 有唔同，佢嘅需要有唔同。但係 as 一個 dance teacher， 我哋去了解佢哋啫，但係我哋唔使全部嘅嘢都要擺晒去，你都要堅持到自己，譬如你教 contemporary 嘅一啲你嘅諗法，或者需要嘅 technique， 或者你想分享俾人嘅嘢係你嘅 idea。咁 step by step 咧就會形成到中意你嘅人，就慢慢會儲埋一堆中意你嘅人就去上你堂，就係咁簡單，亦都唔使諗得咁複雜去做咯。因為呢個係我嘅自己嘅經驗咯。因為一個真心嘅分享，咁當然你有啲 criteria 嘅。如果你 即係教 contemporary 你其實都唔識嘅，然之後你自己亂嚟嘅，咁就好難啦。又或者你都唔係好分享嘅，咁嗰啲人自然佢自己就會走咗去揾第啲人。又或者甚至乎佢走嘅原因未必係呢以上嘅嘢，因為 contemporary 喺我世界裏邊都好多唔同嘅 style 噶嘛。咁嗰個 style 未必啱佢做，佢只係想跟隨另外一個老師，咁就 let them go， 揾一啲適合你嘅人就擺咗喺度。但即係啊，我覺得係慢慢你就應該揾到嘅。係啊，應該冇問題。咁你點樣睇你自己嘅 future？ 因為你咁細個，呢個係我得幾個人會問嘅啫。
My future
係啊，即係你嘅 dance future， 你會 keep on going。你最想做咩啊？
At the moment I want to dance more.
Oh,
yeah, I want to dance more. I want to meet more people. I want to learn everything, honestly. Like as a dancer, as an artist, I think it's our job to continue to learn, to continue to, oh my gosh, words. Continue to learn, continue to be curious, and never be satisfied, I think. So yeah, I think I just want to do everything, all styles, everything. I want to continue learning. I want to continue building this community, and and continue sharing.
非常好。我好中意你頭先講唔好即係咁快就要 satisfy。喺我嘅即係我少少自己嘅分享啦，其實冇 satisfy 嘅一日。係啊，once你覺得已經夠嘅時候，基本上你可以唔使再跳舞，快啲做第樣嘢。真係喎，即係譬如好多人會睇翻個 paper 睇個 video，永遠都覺得即係唔係要 judge 自己，而係嗰樣嘢可以再做多啲。教緊跳舞嘅每一個 routine 你都可以做多啲，你去排緊舞嘅每一個 choreograph 你都可以繼續做 ，even 自己嘅身體嘅 workout 都可以。呢件事件係好緊要，同埋要想學習都係，即係我嘅經驗咁多年已經係，如果冇咗呢個 drive 就好難可以繼續。我唔可以講人哋啦 at least 係我自己啦，即係好難繼續去發生，咁就係需要有呢啲咁嘅心咯，然之後你先可以個跳舞先可以繼續去發生咯，好緊要㗎 ，keep on going。同埋咧嗱，我哋真係好多嘢想同你一個分享，但係我時間上面有一個限度啦，太長嘅時候我驚我哋都冇人，即係佢哋大家冇耐性去睇，或者好快 cut 啊！我哋千祈唔好啊，繼續聽我哋講嘢，或者將好嘅嘢，即係如果你覺得我哋呢一個對話係好嘅話，一齊可以分享俾其他嘅人去聽咁樣，同埋我哋。Bianca 我哋都有個 subtitle， 你可以慢慢 repeat and rewind and repeat， and 睇到我哋講啲乜嘢嘢嘅咁樣咯，係啊。咁我下次有機會再邀請你一齊再做下一啲唔同嘅跳舞嘅對話。今日好多謝你 Bianca，thank you so much。Thank
you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.